Hey everyone, this is Patrick. This will be the final part of the My Past series that I've done on myself. Um, Late June of 2014, I moved out of my parents' house after several stressful weeks of packing and sorting and downsizing from my hoarding problems, but minor problem in the scope of everything. Um, I came up to Cleveland, Ohio. Um, my depression was getting significantly worse, especially due to stress of packing and moving. Um, Started class in July, did not adjust well. I was I was only enrolled for 2 weeks before I dropped out. I was late most days, missing days. Say for 2 weeks of enrolled, I think I had enough clock hours for 6 days for 2 weeks. So that wasn't good. I was still self-harming around that time. I was definitely very suicidal. And I decided I was out on my own. My parents didn't have to know, and I went out and I decided to get myself help. I enrolled myself into an inpatient program. I spent 2 weeks there, which it was kind of a rock bottom point for me in the sense that years and years growing up, I mean, self-harm, suicide, depression, I would never let myself get so bad that I would be inpatient. That was just a no-way boundary. And I ended up there. So, can't say I was overly fond of it, but it was good. But who is fond of being stripped of a whole bunch of their rights and their physical belongings and stuck in a weird place for 2 weeks where you have to listen to other people talk? And yeah, but it was good. Um, see, after 2 weeks, they transferred me over to a IOP, intensive outpatient. There, I was 3 days a week during the days in group therapy. I still had an individual therapist. I had my psychiatrist, and I was in between GPs at this time. Um, so that was still not back in school, and it wasn't until on into September that I started classes again. I re-enrolled, and thankfully the trade school I'm attending starts up classes quite often. So I was able to pick up there. I'm in the class I am now. I'm actually doing pretty well. I mean, overall, I've missed a few days here and there, mostly for health issues and not mental health, to my surprise. I can think of one day it was just, I'm done, I can't do this, I need a day. Took a day, and I was back the next week just fine. Um, See, I'm making appointments, and keeping with them, not skipping out, staying on my meds. Yeah, that's something that did change while I was inpatient. They adjusted my meds, which really did help. I see, thinking, oh, see, then one of the stresses early this year in 2015, my therapist and psychiatrist, they were both at the same practice, and they reworked contracts, and everyone at that practice scattered out all over the place. And I managed to follow my therapist, but my psychiatrist, who I wasn't overly fond of anyway, but he did his job. But I was able to follow my therapist, and so I've stayed with her for, well, in about a month and a half. It'll be a year now. A month and a half. No, a month, because it's middle of August. Um, let's see, and I was having trouble getting a new psychiatrist they were all wanting very extensive waits for starts. And I actually managed to get a referral to a GP who, since I had prior diagnosis and he's in the same building as my therapist, and I okayed them to talk to each other, he was comfortable writing my scripts out, refilling, so I've had him as a GP and become much more comfortable with him. And something that's coming up in September for me is I had made appointments with a dermatologist to deal with some of my raised scarring, keloid, that just keep weeping and blistering. And while I'm there, I'm also hoping to talk about the scarring on my hand and just seeing what I can do as a total for everything else. So that will be stressful when it comes up, but I have some time. I'm going to finish this out with a bit of a vlog on myself. Last vlog, which I'm sorry for the time that's elapsed between then and now, my stress levels have gone way down. So coming towards the end of this mod now, because I'll have finals this week, which I'm not worried about. I've been doing very well on all of my tests, and I understand the subject. My family visited over the weekend. They got here Thursday evening and left out Sunday morning after church. So that was a little stressful for me, and I crassly said to a couple people, since they don't know about my mental health and the reason why I quote-unquote had a delayed start with my schooling was it being my mental health. I just felt like I was charading them around the city and pretending everything was all good and well and nothing was wrong. And part of that was stressful, but at this point in time I still don't feel comfortable to open up to them in depth for various reasons. Maybe in time I will. I figure if they had too many questions, they could always just look up insurance records and try to figure out what they can, but a lot of it would be sealed. So that's how I've been doing for the last few weeks. See, been keeping busy. Tired because I spent a lot of time running around with my parents, showing them things. So weekend wasn't as restful as I had hoped, but it was what it was, and now I'm doing alright. So I thank everyone for viewing. If anybody has any questions for me about my life, or just questions in general, feel free to leave a comment or message me. I will respond as soon as I can.